Did you know that the Global Food Price Index just reported another shocking surge, with experts now warning that a perfect storm of climate disasters and supply chain failures is set to make specific grocery items vanish by October 2025? Listen up, because this isn't about fear, it's about facts. Government reports are quietly admitting that strategic food reserves are at a 10-year low, and what I'm about to tell you is your final warning to get ahead of the curve. Today I'm revealing the 10 grocery items that are on a collision course with scarcity. These are the items you must secure now before they either disappear completely or their prices skyrocket beyond your reach. And frankly, number 6 is an item so basic, so fundamental that the fact it's on this list is terrifying. Most people have no idea it's about to become a luxury. Before we dive in, do me a favor and hit that like button if you want to protect your family from what's coming, and subscribe, because I'll be giving you weekly updates you won't find anywhere else. Let's get into the items that will keep your pantry full while everyone else is facing empty shelves. Item 1, peanut butter. You probably think of that jar of peanut butter as a simple, cheap source of protein. Think again. That pantry staple is in serious trouble. The worst drought in 50 years has absolutely scorched the U.S. peanut belt, especially in Georgia and Alabama, where the majority of our peanuts are grown. Crop failure reports are coming in, and they are devastating. But here's the kicker. At the same time, demand for cheap, shelf-stable protein is exploding as families try to stretch their budgets. I was talking to a friend who works as a logistics manager for a major food distributor, and he told me they are already seeing internal memos about rationing shipments of peanut butter to big-box stores starting as early as September. Your action plan is simple. Stock up on store brands now. They are often made in the exact same facility as the name brands, but for a fraction of the price. Here's a pro storage tip my grandmother taught me. Store your jars upside down. It prevents the oil from separating and keeps the peanut butter creamy and ready to use, no stirring required. Item 2, pasta and pasta sauce. That easy weeknight dinner is about to become a lot harder to make. Italy and Canada, two of the world's biggest suppliers of the high-protein durum wheat needed for quality pasta, have been hammered by unprecedented heat waves. The harvest is a fraction of what it should be. Simultaneously, the global shortage of aluminum and glass means that jars and cans for tomato sauce are becoming harder to source, driving up the price of the finished product. My local Italian restaurant owner, a man who has been in business for 40 years, told me he's having trouble getting specific pasta shapes and that the cost of his imported San Marzano tomatoes has doubled since last year. Your strategic move is to buy pasta in bulk now. And don't just stick to wheat. Look for pastas made from lentils or chickpeas, as their supply chains are different and might hold up better. For storage, get that dry pasta out of the flimsy box and into airtight 5-gallon buckets. It will last for decades. Item 3, canned tuna and salmon. This is your go-to for a quick, healthy lunch, but the ocean is sending us a clear warning. Stricter international fishing quotas are being enforced to combat overfishing, which means fewer boats are allowed to bring in a catch. On top of that, soaring diesel prices are making it unprofitable for some fishing fleets to even leave the dock. I spoke with a cannery worker in the Pacific Northwest who told me they are operating at 60% capacity because of labor shortages and a simple lack of fish coming in. This is a two-pronged crisis of supply and production. Your plan should be to stock up on canned tuna and salmon now. Look for fish packed in oil, not water. The oil acts as an additional preservative and helps the fish retain its flavor and texture for much longer. Use a permanent marker to write the date on every can you buy. This isn't just about food, it's about securing a critical protein source before it becomes a delicacy. Item 4, honey and maple syrup. Your sweeteners are in danger. For honey, colony collapse disorder continues to decimate bee populations, the silent backbone of our agriculture. I was at a farmer's market last week, and the local beekeeper told me he lost 40% of his hives over the winter and his honey production will be cut in half this year. For maple syrup, the crisis is climate change. Unpredictable winters with late frosts and short warm springs are wrecking the sap flow in Vermont and Quebec. When it comes to your action plan, buy raw local honey whenever you can. It has a nearly indefinite shelf life, and its antibacterial properties make it a dual-use prep for both food and first aid. For maple syrup, buy the pure stuff in large metal tins, which protects it from light and degradation. Here's a secret. True honey might crystallize, but it has not gone bad. Just place the jar in a bowl of warm water, and it will return to its liquid state good as new. Item 5, cooking oils. The global cooking oil crisis is accelerating at a terrifying rate. This is a true perfect storm. Canada's canola crop was devastated by drought. South America's soybean harvest was destroyed by floods. Indonesia has restricted palm oil exports, and the war in Ukraine continues to disrupt the world's sunflower oil supply. This isn't a problem in one region, it's a coordinated failure across the entire planet. I was talking to a restaurant supplier who told me that the 35-pound jugs of basic canola oil they sell to restaurants have gone from $40 to over $95. That price shock is headed directly for your grocery aisle. You need to diversify your stockpile immediately. Get coconut oil, which can last for years and doubles as a first aid item. Get avocado oil for its high smoke point, and get refined olive oil, which lasts longer and is cheaper than extra virgin. The critical storage tip here is to buy in smaller dark glass or metal containers. Once you open a huge plastic jug, oxygen begins to break down the entire container of oil. Smaller bottles ensure the bulk of your supply remains perfectly sealed and preserved. Item 6. Salt. This is the one that should truly frighten you. We are not running out of salt in the ground, but we are facing a critical shortage of iodized salt on the shelves. The reason is twofold. First, the supply chains that produce and transport the potassium iodide additive are facing massive disruptions. Second, the packaging and logistics to get that simple $1 box to your store are breaking down. A friend who manages a food processing plant told me they had to shut down a line of snack foods for 3 days because their scheduled shipment of iodized salt never arrived. People don't realize how essential this is. Iodized salt is critical for thyroid function, and in a crisis you cannot afford to have that nutrient deficiency. Your action plan is the cheapest insurance policy in the world. Go to the store and buy 10 to 20 boxes of regular iodized salt. At about $1 a box, you can secure a decade's supply for your family for the price of a coffee. To store it, keep it in a sealed bucket with a few grains of rice to absorb any moisture and prevent clumping. Item 7. Chocolate and cocoa powder. This might sound like a luxury, but in a long-term crisis, morale is a resource you cannot afford to lose. The world's cocoa supply is on the verge of collapse. West Africa, which produces over 70% of our cocoa, is battling a crop disease called swollen shoot virus, on top of devastating drought conditions. Major chocolate companies have already announced double-digit price hikes. This isn't a future problem, it's happening now. A chocolatier I know is now paying 60% more for raw cocoa beans than she did last year, and she's worried she won't be able to get any at all next quarter. Your move is to stock up on dark chocolate bars with 70% or higher cocoa content and unsweetened cocoa powder. Both have a very long shelf life and are more versatile than sugary milk chocolate. Store them in a cool, dark, and dry place to prevent the fats from going rancid. This is your emergency comfort supply. Item 8. Shelf-stable milks. The dairy aisle is more fragile than you think, and this goes beyond powdered milk. The demand for plant-based milks like almond, soy, and oat milk has put a huge strain on the system. Almonds are an incredibly water-intensive crop being grown in drought-stricken areas. Oat crops are facing the same harvest failures we discussed earlier, and the Tetra Pak cartons that all of these milks rely on are facing their own production and shipping bottlenecks. A barista at my local coffee shop showed me their order invoice, where their oat milk supply had been shorted by 50%. Your strategy needs to be multi-layered. Stock up on traditional non-fat powdered milk, which can last for 20 years. Also, buy cases of UHT or ultra-high temperature cartons of both dairy and plant-based milks. They are shelf-stable for up to a year and provide variety. Item 9. Spices and bouillon. A bland diet is a depressing diet. Flavor will be a critical asset when you're eating rice and beans for weeks on end. But most of our essential spices, black pepper from Vietnam, cinnamon from Sri Lanka, cumin from India, are imported from regions facing extreme climate events and political instability. Bouillon cubes, your secret weapon for flavor, are made from dehydrated vegetables and yeast extract, both of which are seeing prices soar due to production issues. The smart move is to buy whole spices, not ground ones. A whole nutmeg or peppercorns will retain their potency for a decade, while the ground version is useless in a year. Stock up on multiple large containers of chicken, beef, and vegetable bouillon powder or cubes. They are a compact, long-lasting way to make any survival meal taste better. Store them in airtight mason jars with an oxygen absorber for maximum shelf life. Item 10. Vitamins and supplements. This is the invisible shortage that could have the most devastating impact on your family's health. A vast majority of the raw ingredients for our daily vitamins, especially vitamin C, B vitamins, and vitamin D, are sourced almost exclusively from China. Ongoing trade disputes, factory shutdowns, and shipping logjams are creating massive backlogs. A pharmacist I know confirmed that they are seeing backorder times of 3 to 6 months for common supplements that used to be readily available. In a situation where fresh fruits and vegetables might be scarce, your body will need these nutrients to fight off illness. Your plan is to secure at least a 1-year supply of a high-quality multivitamin for every person in your family, with extra bottles of vitamin C and vitamin D for immune support. Store them in a cool, dark, dry place, not the bathroom cabinet where heat and humidity will destroy them. Listen, the writing is on the wall, and these shortages are no longer a possibility, they are a mathematical certainty. The time for gradual preparation is now. We are not hoarding, we are preparing. The difference is that we are being smart, buying what we need before the panic starts, while hoarders create the panic. If this information was valuable to you, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss the critical updates that are coming. Drop a comment and tell me which item on this list you're going to stock up on first. Next week, I'm revealing the 5 critical non-food items that are about to become impossible to find this winter, including the one item every household will need when the power goes out. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Stay prepared, stay smart, and remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now.